As a moving business owner, your day starts with a plan. But what happens when your movers don't show and that plan falls apart? Last minute no-shows. You're left to bootstrap, jumping in as an extra body. Yet sometimes, even that's not enough. This isn't just a disruption, it's a barrier to your business growth. Introducing Moving Force, your on-demand moving team. With Moving Force, say goodbye to no-shows and hello to peace of mind. With reliable, on-demand staff ensures you're never undermanned, turning your operational nightmares into a thing of the past. Moving Force, where every day is moving day and every move is smooth. Empower your business and keep growing without missing a beat. Join Moving Force today and move forward with confidence.
All right, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Mornings with Movers. We are live today. And the theme today, the grind versus the life, where entrepreneurs lose themselves. So this episode is going to hit on the real tensions every mover owner faces. You're building, recruiting, fighting for clients, but your personal life on life support. Today, we're going to bring you an executive coach who works with entrepreneurs falling into the trap. Someone who teaches balance without killing the hustle. So we do have Sim in the building. He's been coaching since 2009, helping thousands of people make the most out of their career. Currently, he's an executive coach and host of a podcast, Beyond 9 to 5, a balanced career, where he and his co-host discuss psychology behind professional development. Welcome, Sim.
Thanks for having me, Dwight.
So yeah, tell us a little about yourself.
Yeah, I started my career during the Great Recession. I don't know if y'all remember this,
Oh, we're
right?
not that young now.
I didn't want to assume. Right? And one of the things that everyone was struggling with at that point is trying to figure out how to get a job, pay the bills, and things like that. So I started really developing my niche by helping friends, right? Looking for opportunities, looking for different ways of just building out their lives. And over the course, I got my master's in marriage and family counseling, mental health therapy, but I loved working with the corporate clients, the business focused, right? The entrepreneurs, because they're in this space of building their life, building their relationships at the same time, growing their business. So fast forward to now, I get to work with executives from different Fortune 500 companies to the startups. I just had a coaching session last week with a startup that's at that, how do I say this, like ideation phase. It's like, I'm not ready. I'm thinking about all these things. I'm information gathering. Where do I go from here? So all of it to say that I am looking at the person first, system second. So while they are hustling, making sure that they are living a balanced life where the personal life is met, the individual life is met, and then the professional life is also, thriving.
Okay. And you do it at a high level. That's what they call it. But no, that's a good spot to start. Now, obviously, for me, when I'm in my coaching space, from a training standpoint, I feel like, yeah, there has to be some middle ground where I don't really want to deal with the owner who's just getting in the industry per se, because they're so indecisive on the direction they want to go. And
they have options.
Yeah, they have too many options, and they haven't yet put their footprint down where they're like, oh, well, I really want to do long hauls, or I really want to do locals, or I really want to do final mile deliveries. And because you don't have a clear picture, I can't be that person to go back and forth with you. That's why they got ChatGPT, but I can't be that person. But when you do have a foundation and you do have a playbook in place, and now you're looking to map out your team, now you're looking to map out your direction because you know exactly where you want to go. That's where I best come in and be able to guide you.
Nice, nice. I really love the discovery phase. I got so many options. Where do I go? And this is where like the balance comes in for me, right? Once we understand ourselves and the needs that we're trying to fulfill, it's a lot easier to have that clarity, right?
Hmm.
So that's where I really enjoy working with startups in the ideation phase, trying to figure out like, okay, I have this big idea, right? How do you narrow it down to your next step?
Makes sense. Um, Give me one second. All right, so got a question for you.
Yeah,
So we're
go
gonna dig
ahead.
a little deep today, Ryan. It's always obviously we even talk about you yet, but it's always a pleasure. Me and you doing the show every week. Um, we used to struggle with customers' item size and weights and the cost for inaccurate estimates. And we also ultimately had to cancel some jobs. It was when we found Live Switch Contact. Their video tool for quoting changed everything. We saved $5,000 in the first month alone. And our only regret is we didn't try them sooner. Um, But yeah, so most entrepreneurs say they're fine, but you coach them. What are the first signs they're actually burnt out?
Oh, the first sign is they're trying too hard. Usually when you're doing way too many different things, like I'll share this from my experience. Over last week, I'm trying to change up my um website's back end, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
was stuck on this simple little problem for I want to say 4 days, right? The frustration was building, and I just felt like, okay, I'm hitting a wall and I don't know what wall I'm hitting, right? And I realized at that point, wait, I'm trying way too hard to set up this simple thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? That means I'm not thinking creatively, I'm not thinking positively. So there's a blinder that I have that's making it difficult for me to, that's allowing me to make it difficult for myself,
Mm.
right? There's self-sabotage in there as well. So I step back. I'm like, you know what? Let's go watch some TV and we'll figure it out. Watch TV, great episode of oh my gosh, it's on Apple TV right now. Everyone's talking about it. Whatever it is. Um, Come back, like, oh, that was the fix. Right? It's essentially like taking a step back so you can see the bigger picture and you can relax your brain.
Mm-hmm. That's how me
Because
and
when,
spreadsheets be.
yeah,
Like I love formulas and I love bringing like making spreadsheets. So the thing is, when
yeah,
I'm running into that roadblock where this formula isn't giving me the answer that I want, I am
right.
losing my mind and I will be on it all day long until I figure it out. But then I realized like it was this one issue where I kept getting this formula and I kept putting it in and I kept getting the answer was zero, which should have been one. And I was
Mhm.
losing my mind, losing my mind, losing my mind. I went over it with one of my workers, and I was like, I think I don't need in this formula. It's a one in there. I don't need a one. I need a two. And when I put the
Yeah.
two, it gave me the one that I was looking for.
Ah, love
But
that.
it still wasn't sitting with my soul that that was the right formula.
Yeah.
So eventually, consulting with my best friend ChatGPT, um,
Yeah.
um, we realized that Google Sheets
Hmm.
has a setting where you need to set your time zone. So it's
Oh,
not going based off your computer time zone, it's going off of his own time zone. So the
ah,
time zone was a day ahead because it was in a different country. So when I
yeah.
set it to USA and Eastern, it said one when I had the right formula in there. I said, oh, snap. I would have been here forever.
Oh, that's awesome. I love ChatGPT. I love AI, honestly. It really helps us get moving. But then I was working with a client 2 days ago, and they're like, I know all the answers and what I have to do. I just I don't want to start,
Mm,
right? And that's not a process. question that's an emotional thing for me. It's like, you're not ready. Okay, let's get you ready,
So what does that
right?
process look like for you? Even though that wasn't one of the questions, but that was interesting.
So I wrote this article, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago or something, where I wanted to start my business and just go full force, but I was afraid of success, right? Afraid of failure. You're, you ever have those moments? It's like, yeah, but where do I start? I have all the dominoes are in play. I just gotta start.
Mm-hmm.
So it's usually exploring the emotional and the logical components to understand, okay, where are we actually stuck in putting that, going from that mindset, I like to say, from one day, I'll do this one day to day one, right? It's that mental shift, it's that emotional shift where it says, I'm ready regardless of what happens.
Okay. Okay. What do you think a process like that looks like, Ryan?
I'm a mess. I need Sim's help. I'll tell you that when it comes to navigating between the buoys and having my hands all over the place, and burnout's real.
Oh yeah.
But what I'm struggling with right now, and Sim, I don't know if I'm sure you come across this, and I got a couple questions for you later on in the show too to try to get some clarity on. But obviously, I travel a lot for work, right? I'm on the road 2, 3, 4, 5 days a week, for many, many, many months in a row. And I love it, right? I'm not saying I dislike it. I love being around my people. I love being around the industry folks. But then there comes that time, this time of the year where the traveling shuts off, right?
Yeah.
I almost feel like I lose my purpose a little bit. Now, this is planning for 2026, but it's just a different ball game. So, you run to all these conferences, you're feeling that sense of burnout. You're excited for the last conference to be over because you're like, man, I can finally go home. And then you sit for 2 weeks and you're like, who am I? What am I doing? Am I burnt out? Am I mentally brain dead? Like, I just put a post on LinkedIn about this last week. Any of my, fellow road warriors, are you having kind of some road depression or that feeling of, losing your purpose? Even if it's only for a few weeks, I'm at this point where, professionally, I'm excelling. But now I feel a little bit internally disconnected because I'm not out, moving and shaking, sort of say, no pun intended there. But is that a mindset piece? Is that just a reset? What is that? And where do I
No,
begin?
When your team isn't trained, mistakes happen. Jobs go wrong. Customers complain. And your business? It suffers. At Max Moving Training, we help moving companies like yours build strong, reliable teams from the inside out. From mover and driver training to sales, operations, marketing, and leadership, we give your people the skills to succeed. When everyone is trained, everything runs smoother and your business grows stronger. Training isn't optional. It's essential. Stop guessing. Start training. Join Max Moving Training today.
Is that a mindset piece? Is that just a reset? What is that? And where do I
No,
begin?
oh man, that's a really fantastic question, Ryan. Like for what you just said, the simplest way I can define this, right? And it's more complicated than this way. You're going from doing to being, right? To leading. That's three different stages, right? Because when you're on the road and you're on the go, you're doing things. You're right. This is a lot easier. I'm not saying it's not difficult. I'm just saying it's a lot easier for us to fill our time and we can define our purpose by the time we're investing in something. Right. But then when the lull comes, right, we start being, that means we don't really know how to pass that time because it's not really going too quickly, if I'm understanding that correctly for you.
Yeah.
Right. And what usually ends up happening is the burden of like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do, but I'm not doing anything. At the same time, I can't do anything. Right. There's that loss of control as well. Right. We start we start simple, and then as we keep going down, there's that and all high achievers experience this. Right. What am I supposed to do right now? How do I keep going if I'm not sure? And the purposelessness comes from not having a defined identity of in those lulls. You
Yeah.
follow?
Oh, 100%, man.
Right?
I'm just taking it all in right now. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Because once you have defined what that lull looks like, right? Because let me give an example. When we're working and then we take a vacation, right? We have a purpose. We're vacationing, we're relaxing and resting, right? But when it happens in a seasonal work, right, we're still clocking in our time, but then there's that downtime. What is the top three priorities that you're working on during those times? Once you start labeling that, then you can get into that leading space of, okay, I know exactly what I'm doing on my high times, right? When I'm hyper busy traveling everywhere. And then I also know what I'm doing in my low times, right? And rest can be the purpose of the low times to recover.
Yeah.
So you gotta
No,
you
it's
gotta
Now,
define it for you.
now, do
no,
I do take this with great with a grain of salt, is that 80% of what we do is only going to be produce 20% of the output.
Right.
So
Parato's law.
so we do a lot of work on the back end to prepare for something, but
Yeah.
the product is way less than what the amount of work we put into it. And sometimes all of that other 60% or 80% is stuff that you'll probably never ever use again. Like there was countless times I made processes and systems and spreadsheets that
Yeah.
I thought was great. I spent countless hours making just to find out
Hmm.
that when I put it into practice, oh, I'm not really going to use this. And and it irks
Yeah.
my soul because I'm like, geez, you just wasted so much time on this, you know?
Yes.
So when I was working on that CRM the other day, Ryan, I was like, okay, hey, you know what? Don't be a perfectionist, you know, because it's perfectionist syndrome that'll drive you insane because you're always going to find a flaw in something. And I'm creating a CRM. I'm like, okay, hey, at least let me eliminate a lot of the mistakes, but the aesthetics, the way it looks, whatever the case is, don't be a perfectionist. As long as it does what it needs to do, let's stop there. And then if we run into an error that we need to adjust or we need to make improvements later on based on, you know, input that we've received from whoever's using it, then, you know, hey, we'll make the increases. But it's like the perfect turd. You know, you create the
Perfect.
perfect product in your eyes, and then basically you put it out to the world and everybody got all these different opinions on it. And you're just like, no, no, it's perfect. It has everything. It has dispatch. It has, you know, Gmail. It has all of this. We don't need anything else. But it's perfect to you, not perfect to everybody else.
Right.
All right, guys, my name is Brandon. I'm with Max Move Management, and here's 11 steps on how to have a perfect move. The first one, the office should call or your dispatcher should call the customer 2 days prior to arrival. The reason for this is just in case the customer has a closing on the house, maybe they weren't able to secure, you know, a babysitter for the child or a pet sitter. You definitely want to call 2 days in advance. This helps the customer be prepared, and you make sure that you as well know that you're going to a customer that's also prepared. Two, the crew should also call the customer prior to arrival to the home. After the guys have already geared up, you got all your equipment in your truck, you got your address punched into your GPS, go ahead and either the driver or the helper, give the customer a call or a quick text, let them know that you're en route to your location and provide them with the ETA. This also sets the expectation for the customer to be back home just in case they want to drop their kids off to school. For the third one, look to keep the customer happy, break the ice in the beginning. So pretty much this means when you walk up to the house, knock on the door with your best mannerism that your mother taught you or father, you knock on the door, introduce yourself. Hi, my name is Brandon. I'm the foreman. This is my helper. And you introduce the team that you have with you.
Dwight, I really appreciate you saying that because I always think about it from a design thinking perspective, right? Um, is it for you or is it for the audience? You gotta think about it, right? If you are leading the business, is it for you or is it for the team?
Yeah.
Right? And oftentimes it becomes it's for me. That's why I'm doing this without getting that team involved, without getting the audience involved to say like, actually, what do you need? right? Because when we start asking the people that we're trying to serve, right, the answer is probably a lot easier to accomplish than what we anticipate the problem to be.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see a lot of I've got so many questions. Like my brain is all over the place. I think I just lost my train of thought again. I think I'm a high functioning burnout ADHD. I've got a lot of problems over here, Sim. I don't know if you're taking new
Yeah.
clients or not, but jeepers
Yeah, I'll
creepers.
send you my link.
But obviously, in my opinion has always been, true leaders should be removing the obstacles for their team to thrive, right? Not just survive. But how often do
Yeah.
you come across leaders that, kind of back to Dwight's sentiment here about, hey, I built the, and I'm just throwing things out,
Mm-hmm.
built the perfect CRM for me, but maybe for the team it's not. So how do you talk to leaders about, you know, removing obstacles, leading from behind? Like, I guess, what's your take
Yeah.
on all that? And I didn't really ask a question, but I think you kind of can get what I'm trying to put down. But a little goofy
I
upstairs
think
today.
so. I think so. Right. So what I'm understanding is how do you, how do I, right, talk to leaders to build it for the team? And one of the first thing I say is make sure that you're not the barrier for the team. Right. Oftentimes, with all the good intention, great intentions, and incredible training, one thing the trainers miss, the leaders miss, is am I being a barrier for my team? Right. Because, for example, to Dwight's example of creating the CRM and so on, it's to that level of satisfaction. But if none of the team members, majority of the team members don't need that right now, you creating it doesn't serve them, it serves you.
Mm.
Yep. And kind of a follow up to that, based on
Yeah.
your crazy experience. And I'm going to make sure I ask this question the right way. I hope I get this. But what's one belief about success or leadership that you see executives cling to, like the absolute hardest, even though the data, the psychology, and the results clearly prove it wrong? What are you seeing in your world?
Oh, this is simple, right? I am here to manage my team so they get the work done. That is a core belief in many, many, many managers that I've said, no, that I understand that's how we feel because we feel responsible, right? At the same time, what I'll say is once you build that trust, that psychological safety in the team, you don't even have to be there. The team will function because they're high performing people,
Yep.
right? And psychology backs this up, right? You are creating individuals and empowering individuals to act for themselves on the behalf of what that individual, who is the expert doing that task, right, is empowered to do. And oftentimes, what I see in most managers is that need to hold on to that control. And if it gets too toxic, it becomes micromanaging, right? Holding on to too many details rather than trusting that team and creating a safe, psychologically safe space where the team members, those that we are leading, right, feels safe to say, actually, Ryan, that's wrong, right? Because the way I am seeing it, the way I'm processing this is ABC. I understand that you're seeing it at BCD, but without the A, we're not going to go anywhere.
And that leads me to a great point. Hiring people hiring people to tell you no is a big thing for me. Now, obviously, I wouldn't do it for, someone that's at a entry level position, but like my fractional CFO that I hired at one point in time,
Mhm.
it was like, hey, I don't want to hire you to be a yes person. Otherwise, you can go elsewhere. I want you to tell me no. I want you to be able to tell me if I'm wrong, you know, because I need thinkers at the table. I need, I'm having all the decisions. I'm wearing all the hats. So my way of thinking is one way. Are we making a profit? You know, am I buying these reams of paper for the office, driving the needle forward? And that's just a small example, but is it driving the needle forward versus am I just spending money because I think that, hey, I think the business needs it. In my mind at the time, I know the business needs it. But for you to tell me, hey, you know what? You don't need it. We're burning too much dollars in places that we don't need. No, you're wrong. I think we need it because, people need it this way. And I see your perspective on that. But I think if we look at it from this perspective, that what if we just went green and everybody just used tablets, or we use Google Sheets where everything is automated. So no matter where you log on from, you're going to be able to get the information you need versus printing it all out. And, oh, well, that makes a lot more sense. Okay, that's saving us on the bottom line. That's saving us about a couple of maybe a few $100s. That adds up to a lot more money in the grand scheme of things. Okay, and it's a constructive argument. It's not, hey, you know what, do your job because I told you to do your job. No, you have to sit back and be open to people's suggestions.
Having that open door policy, right? Like I have that with the one business we have, right? Like I always say, like my door is always open, right? For healthy conflict. But I have so many.
Can I ask something, Ryan?
Yeah.
With that open door policy, how many people take you up on that offer?
All the time.
Yeah?
All the time. All the time.
That's awesome.
But you got to with the one business there, like literally, I give everybody has the autonomy to make the tough decisions. Now, particular decisions, right? Like I look at this in many different ways. And a lot of people, when I first started this thing, said, Ryan, you are crazy for the way you are leading your people and giving your people the autonomy to do like scheduling, right? Like I don't sit there and say, hey, you need to work this time. Guys, here's the hours that we're open. This is the team of 5 of you. I don't know what's 100% going on in your lives. I want you guys know what shifts have to be covered. You know that we always need an A+ player on the team, and then we need to have an A player as well. We don't have B's and C's. It's A+ and A's at our group. And it's one of them things where it's you guys make the schedule. You don't need me telling y'all when to work. You know the time we're there. If a customer comes in and say for some reason they had a bad experience or whatever the case is, you know what you can do within these parameters. And now you can't give the house away, but you can't say, no, let me go talk to my boss. No, there's no boss talk. There's no handle the issue with the customer. Now, speed.
Interesting philosophy.
Love that.
So I don't like it, when we first started off, I was getting calls from my team being like, hey, we made this, we put ham on a sub instead of turkey, and the customer, they're not mad, but like, and I'm like, you give them a new sub, refund the money, and give them a gift card to come back again the next time. It doesn't cost us that much. Why does that call? Because by the time they reach out to me, I'm doing my normal, 9 to 5, or not a 9 to 5 in tech startup, like, 6 a.m. to midnight, we'll say, doing the normal job, which I love. Yeah. But it's like, man, by the time I get that call, by the time I react, we're talking 2-3 hours down the road, if not the following day. Like that customer experience. I give my people the autonomy to make all the decisions. Now, they don't make the decisions on where money gets spent. Big money gets spent. But hey, if they see this or this product, they're doing the ordering, the inventory, they handle it all. And they've got full autonomy to do so. And it's been super, super successful. And we're in year 3 at this point. And I look back, and everyone that says, you're nuts, you're crazy, you're allowing your people too much, you're the boss, you're the owner, you should tell them what they need to do. And it's like, no. They have an outline. And they can go ahead and color. As long as they stay in the lines, they can color whatever damn color they want. I don't care. As long as it great impact on the customer, great impact on the team, all is going to go well. So, all right, little different piece there.
Yeah. So we got room for one more question. So, if a business owner is listening right now, and feels overwhelmed, what is the first correction they should make within the next 24 hours? So,
great question. Don't make a correction yet. All right. Hold off, write things down. Write things down twice. All right. First time, it should be just to get your mind cleared. All right. The second time, it will be All right, now that the mind is clear, what are my priorities? Okay, what is doable? What do I have that's within that sphere of influence, right? I can't do it personally, but I need my team to do it. And what is outside of my control, right? Once you have that, your mind's going to start cooling down a little bit. So you're not going to feel so overwhelmed. And then you can start outlining, all right, day one, if I can do one thing, what is that one thing? Focus on that, and you're going to start having clarity and also building momentum. That's it. Start
Would you
there,
equate
and
that?
then,
Go ahead, Ryan.
sorry.
No, so would you equate that? Are you a believer in the 24-hour rule? I feel like that's kind
Uh,
of what you're. What
yeah,
like
help me
you get.
understand that 24-hour rule.
So say there's an issue, a problem, or something emotional that gets you charged or rocking. I've always been a
Yeah.
person where, and thank goodness because I can fly off the handle faster than you fall off a swing set, we'll say. But what I've always done and always believed in, I could be completely wrong, and I might have to make changes. Is if something like of that nature happens, I give it 24 hours before I address it, before I go deep or whatever, and then I wake up in the morning. If that pain is still there, that emotional threat or like at that point I will go ahead and react. So I try to give things 24 hours. Is that crazy
Yeah.
for
It's
a
not
leader or
crazy.
somebody
It's
in business
it's
to do?
it's a really good method to calm yourself, right? And the faster you can calm down, it doesn't have to be 24. Like the writing is usually in 15 minutes, people see a difference, right? And then you can start asking yourself what is important and what is within my control. That essentially what you're doing within that 24 hours is a system of that. It's just slower process because it's happening on the subconscious side. What we're doing is creating that space for that emotion, that overwhelmed feeling, that frustration, whatever that is, to be expressed in a environment that is within your control. So writing it down, right?
Okay.
And then you're ping ponging, uh, you're validating, and you're also challenging your idea and your emotion at the same time.
Cool.
Ooh, it felt like a therapy session today, y'all. Um, but
I need it.
yes, it's a lot to take in, but but it's one of those things where you guys got to sit back and take the time to let it absorb. But we are at the top of the time, y'all. Sim, thank you so much for joining us. We definitely have to have you back in the future. If you want to leave your calling card on the video so people know how to reach you, if they definitely could utilize your services.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Dwight and Ryan. Wonderful conversation. Um, Please feel free to join me on my website or my Instagram, balancedatlast.com. That's balancedATLAST.com.
All right, y'all. Y'all heard it first. So y'all keep grinding out there. Y'all take your time, slow it down a little bit. This is that season. We got 2 more months of the down season before it starts ramping up again. This is the time where you guys need to get your bearings in order. Keep grinding. We'll see y'all soon. Take care.